Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this one?
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Get wrecked! You robbed the grandparents. Later, Bushu.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Yeah, burnt.
Better.
My small little
You
bean.
Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just, we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hell's-bent on destroying the world.
Debbie Downer.
And
But yeah, I agree.
once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends. I'll hold you to that.
Good. I'm holding myself to that.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Aww.
Glory! Coulternay! What brings you all this way?
Or
We're to
Boulder.
assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return.
I hope not. They probably are. Who knows?
We will too, of course. Aye, we, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Charlian!
It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Can I give Tataru a hug? Can we not give Tataru a hug? Tataru
Have a safe
deserves a
journey,
hug.
and please, please, be careful.
Everybody group hug! No. Oh my gosh. You'll see swallows all.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. a future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent.
I'm so short, I can only see between the rails. Oh, I'm sad. They're really good
And
characters.
there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
But they said they'd continue the story with the characters in some form of other medium. So even if it's an anime or something else, I'm like hyped for that. But yeah, I'm sad because we had such good pulls. Are you kidding me? And like I put so much time in that game out of all the Tales games. That's a little upsetting. But as MX Silk says, there's an end to everything, right? Yeah, if they do an anime, they said they would do crossovers for sure, so. Oh, Lord. Let's not play this song, shall we? Can we not have flashbacks to something like this?
Here.
Oh, no. Hell no. Heidelin.
Feel.
You better leave this boat alone, lady.
Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt.
Edna brought it all to ruin.
I've heard nothing myself.
That's suspicious,
In
considering...
any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Charlian should be coming into view at any moment.
I'm already getting, like, anxiety. Like, I feel it right now. It's so horrifying. How could anyone sleep? Oh, of course. Hell no, lady. We're not playing this game again. You got the one creepy Nephilim show up and scare the shit out of me, and then that was it. You don't get another.
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad.
I am not.
Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light.
I knew it! I called it! I knew it was her. At the end of it, I was like, that's Heidelin. And somebody be telling me that it wasn't. And so, like, let me call this right now at the beginning of the story so that I'm very clear about what I thought from the last patch. I honestly believe that we are an Ascian and that we are in charge of Zodiark. And that this woman knew Emmett Selk in the previous life and is in control of Heidelin. But she herself is not Heidelin, but she's like a messenger for Heidelin in a sense, encapsulating her existence. So my assumption is that we are because when everything fell in Shadowbringers, they explained that there was a difference of opinion between Zodiark and Hydaelyn about like which groups want what. So if there's somebody who's in charge of Hydaelyn, then there's got to be someone who's in charge of Zodiark, and we're the only other person who's been around for a long time as a Warrior of Light. So, and we became the Warrior of Darkness. So I think that the point of that spin was to make us the hero of Zodiark. But that's just I just want to call it now. Because you know how I am about stories and calling stuff, so. I want to know why. I don't want to, you know?
After your sojourn in the First, I believe you have your answer. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Hydaelyn has always been, a primal. Zodiark was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms, monumental, which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
See? She totally promised something. I knew it.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlayan's just over yonder.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
I really think Hydaelyn was an Ascian, too. I mean, well, clearly she was, right? I mean, no. Maybe the person she resides in was? She's a big lady, and the Ascians are big people in comparison. Not to Lalafels, but just people in general, so.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Nope.
Then let's
I didn't
go.
want spoilers.
Let's go. Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
I'll say as all viewers of people playing Endwalker, let's go, let me show you this. People who are ahead of you, and then you're like the new person that hasn't looked at the city. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, let me show you things.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen.
Here we go.
There she is. Good old Sharlayan.
Oh, I see it.
Well, well.
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you? Indeed, 'tis as Sir Estinian saith. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all.
That's who I picked for my patron when I started the game. Are you kidding me?
They deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
I don't know if you're gonna like watching this. I'm gonna be so serious about everything. I'm gonna be like, hello, I'm already emotional already because I'm worried about what's gonna happen, because we're gonna lose people, I already know.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next then? Entry applications?
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders, especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
They have to allow people because people take knowledge with them. When you, in real life too, when you have a job and you learn a skill or a trade, you take it with you when you leave that job, and then you bring it to someone else, and then that then is passed down as well. So it makes sense that Sharlayan's open, because without people constantly coming in, sharing knowledge and tools and trading intellectual properties, then Sharlayan doesn't serve a purpose as a hub of, you know, all sorts of trades and crafts and things in the world. And so you can think of them as a collector, right? They want to collect everything and have everything stored for history. So essentially that's what they're doing, you know, so.
May.
Yes, Estinian, be a
Quite.
stickler for the words.
So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration.
Because of the loss and what happened previously with the students of Baldessia, the island.
Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we? Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
Rude.
Grahat here of the Students of Baldassian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
I mean, luckily, a lot of them were already there formerly, so it's like,
See how it glows.
you know?
That list is etherically linked with the citizen registry kept in the main repository.
Fancy.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
The twins. That's who you got.
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alize Leveilleur.
They're gonna be like, y'all denied, banned.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny.
So? How's that your business?
And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
And I'd like to, under such personal circumstances, constitute that you shut up. None of your business. Rude. People are so nosy.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Like, she's so mean. I guess that's why she's the applicant, right? The immigration applications person.
Name and occupation?
Name is... Never mind. Luxus Archmagus. Champion of Eors. No way. Adventurer by trade. Artisan, you know. Her name probably is Karen. I will say adventurer. That's what I do. I am not a champion at all.
An adventurer. Well, I suppose that is considered a valid calling in your native Eorzea. And it does indeed match the profile provided.
Yes,
You may enter.
pass the test.
And you, sir?
Estinian, you best not say Dragoon. Stabbing Nidhogg eyes. Stabbing Dragon eyes.
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Boy, why'd you say that? You just don't
Formerly,
want to be entered.
And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
Fisherman? Oh, okay.
If you'll allow me.
Aw, it's been a while since I've seen Cryo. Not too long,
but...
but...
mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning.
Oh my god, lady! Karen, please, no.
May have severe repercussions for your organization.
Oh my god, I hope a meteor falls on her first, or she gets eaten by whatever new creature we face. I hope she's the first to go. I'm just saying.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Ugh, academic burn. Ouch. Get bit. That's how you burn people when you are... That's like office rhetoric. That's how you do that.
It is good to see you.
Yeah, cryo. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you will seem none the worse for wear.
You would think
there is
that.
much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we?
Let's go.
Oh. Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
There's so many people and things going on again. We are at last, the great city of Sharlayan. You may have noticed some similarities with the Crystarium, yes? In fact, but we really should let Kryos have her say first. We'll continue this another time. You're no doubt eagerless to take in the sights. Not to worry, Lexus, the city is not likely to vanish before we finish our discussion. Allow me to extend unto thee my warmest welcome, Lexus. May the wisdom of our homeland aid us in our endeavors. Even allowing that the years I spent first time passed here in the blink of an eye, it feels like the city's untouched by time. Last one as always.
I was delayed.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine, Urianger. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroid's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Sharlayan, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Maybe if we take care of those first.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, He had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Charlian colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavner. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume
That's
is a
priority. I mean, I'd like to see why the Charlians are sus, but like, that is a priority. If there is one to prioritize.
In response to this threat, the satrap of Rads at Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. 'Tis possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavner would seem the obvious choice.
Yeah, and?
But the investigation in Charlian is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnerian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary.
That's how I'm gonna feel this whole entire
It is a great
expansion.
imposition and an altogether too common one. Our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts.
But I can't. There's only one.
You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Charlian. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Oh, we know the other one's
For my
gonna.
assistance.
Yep, of course.
I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alize and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course, the more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavner. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavner on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nidana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
I have Krau's instructions in hand. If you're ready to set out, then so are we. Having been to Thavner before, I can travel by Aetherlight, but what are the rest of you? Another sea voyage will waste time we do not have. Corral was of the same mind, so she has to secure the aid of the good folk of the Confluence. We'll take ourselves there. Who? That's where he and Moonbreeder are from, aren't they? That would recall the hunt for Iceheart and to whose sanctuary delivered. Whose sanctuary we delivered the owing the knowledge of our comrade Moonbreeder. Moonbreeder was an authority on aetherology, a field of study she did embark upon in the pursuit of her parents' example. Both are authorities in their own right, and both are researchers at the Confluence. Oh no. Haven't you gone to see them yet? I attempted to do so earlier, but to my shame my courage failed me at the last. As it hath many times, I thought to reach out to them after sending that fateful letter. Neither time nor introspection have revealed unto me the words I should speak, thus I have kept my silence. Will they come with us or no is your choice and yours alone. If it's too difficult, we'll manage. Thou art kind to say so, but I have no intention of forsaking our cause. I shall go to the Confluence, I shall face what hath long been overdue. I don't think I'm ready for any of that. Well, now this is rather a lot of stern faces. Are my library books overdue again? Not to our knowledge. Our associates of Carl and the students of Baldessian. We think passage to Thavnair and understand you can assist us? Ah, the test subjects. Welcome, welcome. Test subjects. Though you hadn't heard, well then allow me to explain. So in order to travel to an Aetherlight, you ordinarily need to be attuned to it beforehand. Otherwise, you can just use a beacon to seek out your mess of Aether hurling along the lifestream. An inconvenient but incontrovertible limitation of Aetherlight teleportation. But what if I were to tell you that there's a way to travel to an Aetherlight without being attuned to it? A way to teleport instantly to places you've never been. For long years, we've labored such possible travel that people might move about more freely. And we've done it. We've created a new kind of Aetherlight that doesn't require attunement. Truly, that changes everything. Well, my language may have been a little bit misleading. The user still needs to attune to those Aetherlights, but Aetherlights themselves have been pre-tuned to each other, thereby facilitating travel between 2 points. But it so happens that our first test pair of Aetherlighters have been installed here in Sharlayan, and the other was in Ydalamad, a port town in Thavnair. And as you know, our nation has long maintained ties with Razatan, and indeed, we owe much to the breakthrough of the contributions of their alchemists. So to sum it up, we're to test these Aetherlights. How fortuitous for you. I should mention that an accident has impaired my ability to channel Aether. Will this be a problem? Not at all. As a matter of fact, you'd say that these Aetherlights are made for people like you, your good self, sir. These magics imbued you within the whisk you away without any effort on your part. A veritable dream come true. Far be it for me to worry about such things, but do you have permission to make use of this shiny new invention? The only permission is required is yours, so assuming you're willing, and we're all set. But come to surprise, we're actually a struggle to find test subjects. Most people have an unreasonable fear of their souls gradually disintegrating as they drift helplessly in the lifestream. And there's statistically unlikely in the event something does go awry. But it's plain you aren't. Most people. Mistress Carl surely knows how to pick them. We've been set up! If I might change the subject, are Master Wolfson and Mistress Bloida that present today? Oh, you didn't hear? They recently resigned their posts. Their expertise was needed elsewhere. A large-scale project held by the Forum itself, as I understand, but I'm not privy to the details. Let's see. Any other questions? No? Then let's get going before you change your minds. Please see to preparations and head outside the Aetherlight Plaza. I'll be along shortly. Well, that took the wind out of my sails. I was totally expecting to meet them, and now I should have guessed. But, you know. Anyway.
Right, we're all set. Just the 4 of you, was it?
3. I'm already attuned to the crystal in Thavnir.
You are? Oh. I would have preferred more test subjects.
You lucky
well,
you
never
get
mind.
any.
If our 3 travelers could line up here, please.
I mean, we've already pulled Thancred out of the live stream, so, you know, Irianje, here's to your turn.
Yes, right there is fine. Take a deep breath, and I'll soon have you soaring through the ether. Oh, and one last thing.
Oh no, we probably should have picked the other path.
You might experience a teensy-weensy touch of violent ethereal sickness. Good luck!
Oh, just a little violent. Oh, oh, oh! Okay. Whoa, that's mighty far. Whoa, that's a long way.
Thavnir, home to city-state Rads Athan. Rising from the southeast waters of the Bounty, this Isle of Plenty served as the battleground for a conflict between 2 peoples. Their cultures bled into one another until a unique amalgamation was distilled from the chaos, in a process not unlike their precious alchemy. Once solidified as a single nation, an adamant stance of neutrality would hold invaders at bay. For a time. Now across this vibrant isle creeps a fog of malice. What choice do you have? What chance?
Oh, okay. I was about to say, Irianje. Okay, good. As long as he experienced it, I'm cool with that. We all gotta take our lumps. Yeah, that definitely is priority. It's literally right outside the town. I do not regret my choice. Although, Thancred and Irianje's in the corner, like, fetal position. Oh my gosh.
I've seen fairer faces after a bout of bad shellfish.
Yeah, why don't you go find something to help us? Yeah, that's right.
Should upsettle your bellies.
It's not our bellies, dude. It's like your ethereal being, like your aether is jacked up.
There was a note with Kryle's instructions.
Let me guess. Don't take
let
that.
Estinian roam the markets alone. He's alarmingly bad with coin.
You guys wait here. I will go handle the coin. Yeah, money's involved. Lux, you know how I am. Time to clip those Eorzean Rasset's hand coupons. Oh my gosh. Right, let's make sure to attune. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I do, that we're sick or whatever. But Estinian. Ooh. I don't care. I'm here. E3 drink something that helps with aether sickness? By the Mencia traveler. Greetings and welcome. You're wise, good sir, to come to me. My special armor lassie, made only with the finest and freshest ingredients, is famed for curing unruly bellies. By the way of warm welcome of Thadnir, I am pleased to offer it to you at the low price of 19,800 gills. Please, not 1, 2, but 3 bottles. A bargain, almost bargains. The price is highway robbery, and you want to say as much as Estinian, but you realize your words of warning or cry out won't be accompanied by your last meal. You must stand before Estinian and you deny that the deal is unfair. Bro, deny. I gotta type it out because I don't have my keyboard attached. I can barely stand. Why do you need to tell me it's so urgent? Wait, I shouldn't buy the lassie? The merchant is swindling me? Ugh. Sincerest apologies, sir, but I appear to have prices confused. It's actually 1,890 gil for 3 bottles of lassie. That confusion is quite costly for both of us. Very well then, your coin. Here, a bottle for each. Take them to the others and get some rest. How can it be? You just stab stuff with a spear. That's how you get stuff. I'll be back after I explore the town. No, you do not. We do not agree with that. I am after you. Right behind you. Where are you? Well, I guess I'll heal them and worry about this later. By the 12. Sweet release. If you haven't already, you should have yours too. Get your big butt out of my face, person, rando. People never realize where they position themselves. Like, always position people out of the way. Right, I made her get out on the way with it. Lassie truly worked wonders. Just in time for the morning sun to rise. Back on your feet, I see. Always lurking in the shadows, that dragon. The hair. I bound it. It's the most I could do against the heat shortening of shedding my armor. May I ask where you got the cord for it? A local vendor, the man said Thavnarian weave, tough and not easy unraveled. How much did it cost? Oh my gosh. 9,400 gil? A steel I was told says nothing fancy, but I've always valued function over form. That's incredible. I just think not even Alphino could hold a candle to you. Are all Hannish merchants so unscrupulous? One must be too quick to paint a diverse people with a single brush. If death can prove to be commonplace, I would presume is symptomatic of societal instability. Claiming Thavnera's dominion, the nation of Rasset Han hath long thrived as a hub of commerce. In the beginning, there were the Arcasadara and a Matenga tribe indigenous to the lands. Over time, they became joined by other races, and though their intermingling of culture rich and distinct did emerge, for alchemy to textiles, the products of Hannish culture could have come to be celebrated and coveted the world over, a development only aided by the nation's prime location as a waypoint betwixt east and west. All this a combined making a trading power of Raz at hand, yet such a status cannot be taken for granted. Nay, it must needs to be maintained through judicious governance and stringent regulation. Neither of which I see any evidence, given the merchants of Gateway Town are free to fleece hapless travelers and tarnish the reputation of a nation at large. Just so, the opportunistic pricing is rampant doth suggest that oversight is much weakened, or mayhap the people have fallen upon hard times. Whatever the truth may be, 'twould be prudent to ascertain the current state of affairs. Prudent and practical eye, we've not to lose by learning more. Ere we seek out Kryle's assistance, shall we see more information of what we can gather in Yildomad? Excellent, we'll go off the flying start, but we'll keep and make for it. We'll make up for it. Okay. They aren't dead though, right? Like, maybe they're just knocked out. Probably not. We'll see what happens. Oh no, is that her?
What happened here?
I mean, yes, Estinian. Yes, we all are wondering that.
Their dress marks them as alchemists. I see no evidence of injury or poison.
Thinkest thou they but slumber?
I believe so. Whether it is by choice is another question entirely.
Oh, we have guests.
Yes, this is the only game I play in English. Remember we had that discussion, Kami, about how I thought that they were really good voice actors and actresses? Yeah, this is the only game I like English in, so I'm super sorry. But I like them all. Normally you wouldn't find me doing it, but I just very much enjoy the way that they've done it. I don't know.
You must excuse the poor welcome. Long days and longer nights have taken their toll, as you can see.
So wait, are they all just tired? Surely they're not just tired. And look at the pixels on the outfit.
Servant to the satrap. My task was, in fact, to wake these good men and women, if you will allow.
I would rather not some strange kid be feeding something to people that are unconscious that I don't understand.
I come bearing new scales.
Scales?
Like mule?
We have new scales?
What?
Yes, my friends. Gather round. I have them right here.
Let me guess. More subjugated people drunk on mule or scales or whatever.
Now I can continue my experiment.
Oh, they're researchers. So, oh, I get it.
Thanks. One for me.
Those are dragon scales.
Yeah.
Yes, such materials are vital to their most pressing research.
I just realized the chat has to be slightly up higher because of the dialogue box. Okay, now we're good.
And we are fortunate to have them. Our experiments are so close to bearing fruit. Soon we will have a talisman capable of nullifying the etheric emissions from that accursed tower. Did I say something wrong? Are you not here with Varshan? Wait, who are you people?
Well, I mean, we were gonna tell you, but you all were sort of scaring the shit out of us by pretending to be dead.
You're the one Kryle sent. The warrior of light we've been waiting for.
Wait, you've been waiting? Or
Celebration. Praise be to Cinderova.
Cindy, really you gonna choose Cindy over Sandy and Mindy?
Winds have shifted. I feel it. The end to our toil is near.
I feel it too. My head hasn't been this clear in days.
Tell me, how did you acquire those scales?
Curious that it concerns you so.
More curious that you're hiding it from us.
But worry not. They were freely given by the dragon with whom our satrap has forged a lawful pact.
Mm-hmm.
That is well.
Tiny Jesus, man. No, this guy's... Is he? Really? I don't think so. I think he's sus tiny sus man is what he is.
You must be quite familiar, Dragakin, yes?
Is this their congealed blood I see on your weapon?
Speaking of dragon blood, you yourself have been infused with it, have you not?
This is what happens when people
I should like
are...
to draw a file or two, if so.
Now, see.
Run! Run!
You visit our laboratory.
Oh no, Stinian.
Cease your shoving, or so help me.
Rip Estinian. Rip Estinian.
Oh dear, your poor companion. What with the new scales and your timely arrival, my colleagues are a little giddy with excitement.
That's called assault.
No harm will come to him, I promise. Meanwhile, shall we find a quiet place to talk?
Oh my god.
As you may have guessed, I am Nidana, the alchemist who sent the request to your mistress Kryl. We have workshops across the nation collaborating on this research project. But it is here, at the Great Work,
Because don't you think that Irianje has not taken a sample himself? You know he's done it. You know he's totally done it already.
And I can explain the crux of the situation.
He understands them. Those are his people. I will tell you this, Kami. So I had a choice between the two routes, right? And I chose this route because I felt the tower was a more pressing manner than sticking my nose in books. But the moment that they mentioned Moonbreeda's parents, I literally almost was in tears. Because I have like this intense anxiety of like meeting them. Cause like that was like probably one of the worst moments, I think. So like the whole time I was just like trying to hold back falling apart. Cause like, and I was actually relieved that they weren't there. Yeah. So beautiful.
Yes, that would be Radzad Khan. Hardly anyone has been allowed in or out since our troubles with the tower began. The faithful citizens huddle inside the city walls, and commerce has all but ground to a standstill. I pity the satrap, the trials he must be facing.
What can you tell me of this satrap?
Well, he is the most important person in Radzad Khan.
Yeah, but is that all he is?
Long ago, this island was home to two tribes of Matanga, the Gajasura and the Arkasodra. When the Aura came to these shores, it was the Arkasodra with whom they joined forces. Together they defeated the warlike Gajasura, forcing them to flee Thavnair altogether. Peace and prosperity reigned for a time, until a clan of Hjor from the mainland decided they wanted the island for themselves. It was a direct ancestor of the present satrap who arbitrated that conflict and welled the warring factions into the nation we know today. And ever since, a member of that esteemed lineage, has inherited this somewhat unique position. You see, by and large, the state is run by the people. But when problems arise, it is the satrap who mediates a solution.
Sort of like an objective third party? Another judge to break the tie?
The stability provided by the satrap is what has allowed Radzadhan to thrive all these years. And it was the satrap himself who entrusted us with this duty. We will not fail him, nor our countrymen.
What is the delay with the vessel? I told you I need to adjust those ratios.
Hey now.
I come all this way to admire one of my splendid towers, and what do I find? Fools attempting to ward off its tempering influence with magic trinkets. I seem to recall a similar experiment in ages past. What was that man's name? Oh, something. Owen? Another body, another time. Who could be expected to remember every trivial detail?
Allowing them to construct such handy talismans would be counterproductive to my plans. And yet, I find myself deathly curious. How will they manage this feat with the limited knowledge and resources at their disposal? Complications be damned. For we cannot escape the nature of our souls. And I, as ever, am my own worst enemy.
I feel like this is such a game to him. Like, I feel like he just is like, oh, you know, it's whatever.
I see our taskmasters have allowed you a moment's respite as well. You have to hand it to these alchemists. They are determined to see this endeavor of theirs succeed. I've never been one for blind optimism, but I sincerely get the sense they're close to a breakthrough.
They had better be, or all this effort was for naught.
The peoples of Eorzea, of the Far East, of Thavner, children of this star united in common cause against a dire threat. Yet ere they succumbed to suicidal madness, were not the Telophoroi born of her body as were we? They who cling to life and the promise of the morrow's dawn, against they who desire death and an ending of their own orchestration. The victors of this war alone will hold the right to answer the question of existence, of its meaning, and its worth.
And our depression.
Poetic and ominous to a fault. That said, if it's an existential debate in nature, then our arguments might not be as persuasive as you'd think.
Hey. Yeah, I couldn't get in for a week, Crystal Champ. I tried. Welcome in, welcome in. I tried so hard, but there was always like 7,000 in queue, and I have a day job, so I took vacation off for the original launch, and then the original launch got pushed back, and so I couldn't take more time off, so I ended up missing like a whole week that I could have been playing. So yeah, I am way then more behind. And not happy about it.
Daniel wants to die and take everyone with him in an orgy of pain and suffering. An utterly vile and unforgivable idea.
Whoa, Thancred, please, language.
And yet, when spat upon by fate and wailing in the deepest pit of despair, who among us can say they have not attained similar thoughts? There are nights black as pitch, bereft of hope, and no words of comfort can reach you. And it's all you can do to grit your teeth and choke back the bile.
The more you see and suffer life's injustices, the more difficult they become to bear.
Isn't that the truth?
Vengeance is nurtured in similar soil. Though your anger has a broader focus, the sentiment is much the same. A fervent desire to destroy others, to see them drown in torment, as you have.
That about sums it up. The will to endure is not always as strong as the urge to burn it all down and salt the earth. Survival be damned. It's a struggle, often close and brutal.
Indeed. Well, I, for one, shall pray survival proveth more appealing in the end.
As will I. Besides, our chances are much improved when we've the company of others committed to the cause of life. Our vengeful dragoon here is proof of
that. No, Kami. Crystal Champ is more referring to, like, every expansion I've ever played. I've always been immediately in and, like, clear it immediately, like, super fast. This is the first time I've actually not done it quickly. So, Crystal Champ is more referring to, like, it's super weird that I'm not done. Yeah, like, usually I'm already done by now, but, yeah. It's a little odd for me not to be, so. I'm one of those people that's like a sweaty nerd. Like, what do we call it? I forgot what we call it, but you, like, are literally so focused on it that you're, like, you know. You're constantly,
What is it? What did you see?
It's the grind. I saw a hooded figure out of the side of my eye, which I actually just did as well.
Daniel, are you sure? If he knows we've been working on a countermeasure.
Well, I mean, clearly he does, right?
It holds. The vessel holds. This is the one.
At long last.
Fandango. Amigo. Bombardira. Anyway. I'm never gonna forget that now.
Look! We have finally created a talisman strong enough to withstand our experiments. We've named it a warding scale for the time being. With this in your possession, your soul should be completely shielded from corruptive ether.
Wow, that's really
Afforded
pretty.
such protection, any one of us may approach the towers without fear. Thou hast mine admiration. 'Tis an invention of historical significance.
I thank you for your kind words. But I would prefer you keep them unsaid until we test the talisman's efficacy in the field. It is for the next stage of our plan that we summoned you in the first place, to accompany me to the Tower of Zot.
You know, I'm shocked that people did that too. Like, I think I think I don't know. I don't understand. How do I say this? I used vacation time and I couldn't move it, so I think it's unfortunate for the people who couldn't move their time, right? And so it's like sort of sucks because it's like people had time off and then they lost it, and then because of that, there were a lot of people who are getting in barely now. They're getting in late. And I think that it's fair just to say, like, this is the time where no one should be saying anything. Like, people on Instagram, FF14 is really bad, and people are like, I want to give my impressions and blah, blah, blah. And, like, this is a moment where your friends need to do you a favor and just shut up and say nothing. Say nothing, don't peep about it, don't say anything like, oh, you're going to like this part of this or that. Because there are people, like me, who have been playing for, like, 8 or 9 years, and then there are people who, like, I get that you came from WoW, or you came from somewhere else, or you've only been playing the game for a year and you sweaty nerded grinded it and got to Endwalker. I get it, super cool for you. But there are those of us who have been playing for such a long time. I don't want to hear about any of that, you know what I mean? And so, like, I think that's what gets me upset. I don't care that people came over from other games, but for it to have taken me a week to get in and a week for me to avoid literally the internet so I get no spoilers is like, it just, I get it's not their fault. I get that they're like a victim of their success, like FF14 is, but it very much upsets me that I have to go to like all these sorts of crazy lengths to avoid people who can't not talk about it. Like self-control. Like, I know that the internet isn't known for self-control and people want to vomit everything out spoilerish on there, but it's just, it's something that I've been like avoiding so hard. And Crystal Champ doesn't mean that at all, like, I know. But I'm just saying, like, in general, like, I was in some other people's discords and stuff. Yeah, right. And I think that that's so rude, you know? Well, yeah, but here's the thing, right? Is like, all these people came into the community, right? And they're like, oh, I love this game, blah, blah, blah. But think about the people who were here first. Think about us who have been playing this game, you know? Yeah, of course it will. I know exactly what happened. I haven't done it myself, but I've had that happen before once a couple patches back. Yeah, most people don't, though. That's why I'm saying there's the community. It's just one of those things that's like, you're coming into a community. What about the people who have been here for a long time, right? Like, respect us as players who have been here a long time. I'm super glad you joined our community, and I'm super glad it's grown. But please keep in mind that there are people that have literally waited for every patch and done everything in progressively over these last, like, 8 to 10 years. And it's so disrespectful for me for people to come in. I know they don't care, but then they certainly do whine whenever we're like, oh my gosh, you know, so many WoW players coming in, and they're like, you're gatekeeping and blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. I mean, you guys don't care to spoil us, then why do we care? You know what I mean? So, like, I just don't, there's an argument for everything. And to be honest, I just don't want to hear it from people. And so that's why I avoided everything. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Like, me being upset that I played for 8 or 9 years and you came in like a week ago, and then you're getting upset at me. You know what I mean? Yeah, like and I get it. I mean, I get it. But here's the thing too, like, people, also the big YouTubers are the ones who were like former WoW players too, right? So like, they have that connection to them, and that's why they're like really popular. But at the same time, they need to direct their community, having come from WoW, right? And WoW's like, having those people come from WoW and then be like, oh, the FF14 community is so refreshing and kind and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you can't take advantage of the kindness of the community, right? You have to be respectful of those people who have been here for a long time, and you have to be respectful of the fact that they've been playing it way before you. And this game does not exist without the people that came before you and paid monthly and paid everything so that the game could survive up to this point. You know what I mean? So I think that's the part that infuriates me about it. Hey, welcome back. And I think that's why I was just fed up at a point of all that. But I'm glad that you get me. I'm not being unreasonable. You know what I mean? At least I know. But it's just wild that people don't see that perspective of others. Like, to understand that it's not that I don't welcome you. It's that I don't welcome the toxicity and the spoilering of people and stuff because you're hyped. Because guess what? We've been hyped for a long time. So please respect that. You know what I mean? And people just don't in general. And so that bugs me. But those are just people. Those are just people who can't control themselves and are, you know, that's their problem. Anyway, back to this.
Should the scale prove effective, as I very much hope it will, then you'll have little to do. But should the effect be weaker than anticipated, I must ask that you restrain me, or knock me senseless.
I am not gonna hit a cute elephant and a lady elephant. Yeah, let's not hope it doesn't come to that.
Either way, we are fortunate to have you with us.
Nidana, are you certain you wish to do this?
It's so nice to see them all caring for her.
If others are to trust our creations, then we must have faith in them first. And as the senior researcher, it falls to me to lead by example. But should I fail to return, then learn what you can from this attempt and apply it to the next. Our work must continue. Is that clear?
What a brave, brave soul.
We'll keep an eye on the place while you're away.
How dare they not let us hug Tataru when we left at the beginning? I will say that. I wanted to hug her. I wanted to be like, is there a way we can, like... I was so upset about that, let me tell you. No!
Assuming Fandaniel
I almost
is
skipped it.
lurking about, there's no telling what mischief he has in mind for us, or you, beyond your guard.
Shall we be on our way? I'll have one of the soldiers at the hatchery prepare us a boat, and we can set out from the northern shore. I'll see you there.
I mean, here's the thing, like, the Scions would financially and structurally fall apart with Tataru, so I understand her role. It is unfortunate, but without her, she's probably one of the most, if not the most, pivotal player in this. Heave, stress. She better not. If we lose her, if this is Tesleen over again, I'm not doing this.
Any moment now.
Oh.
It's working! And you are still yourself? Then I'd like to see how it fares closer to the tower if we could.
She best not push it. Because even if she's immune from the effects, us being this close to this tower, you know how horrifying something that is in the tower could happen? We saw what happened to Arenvald.
So far, so good. The scale's protection appears to be holding. If we can just make it to the tower's entrance. A few more steps.
I don't like this. Don't turn away from the front of the tower!
And the scale has proven itself to be
Something's gonna come behind you and stab you through. You better pay attention.
Now we can focus on production. Once we've equipped
the door is
an
open.
entire survey team, this menace will soon give up its secrets.
It's like watching a bad horror movie, like when they run up the stairs and, you know, they shouldn't. Yep, I knew it. Oh my god, I knew it. Can we not do this again? My little olive potato legs carry me swiftly. How has this grown so large? These towers are ridiculous. No, 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 no.
Oh, let me go. Oh, let me go. Oh.
Oh, do calm down. You'll only hurt your
I'm about to thrash you.
Stop. Oh, you can't do this. Please.
Too late. Of course. I am not okay with this.
A little late for heroics, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but you're gonna give that back because you don't get to keep it.
The similarities are striking. My, such hostility.
I mean, you literally picked a body to inherit of a person we didn't even like to begin with.
My patrons of old would have positively squealed in delight, though, between you and me, I find gushing praise exhausting.
Patrons of old.
Allow me to tell you a story. Surely you've yet to hear the one about Van Daniel, the sundered Asien.
Of course he's gonna preach, you know, he's gonna preach about himself because that's his favorite topic.
I inherited the position and the soul of the Van Daniel who sat on the convocation in the time of the final days, theoretically speaking. Practically speaking, that fact is of no consequence. I was born and lived as, well, me. Eventually, I was recruited into the Asians and imbued with the former Van Daniel's knowledge and memories, but I never felt that they were truly a part of who I am. How to explain? Perhaps if I told you who I was before my Asian embrace, although that chapter too is a past I've long since discarded. I have it on good authority you've poked your nose into an Allegan ruin or two. Then I expect you've heard of me. The old me.
At your service.
Of course.
Imagine a nation of unbridled prosperity. Every need met, day after day of unbroken, unshakable peace. Existence fulfilled.
And this is why they did it, because they were bored.
And ripe for decay.
Of course.
You are a genius without peer, Amon. However do you conceive of such delightful experiments? That fool was beside himself with panic when he awoke with the head of a bull. Even his cries for help emerged as so much guttural lowing.
So they literally reached a point where everything was paradise and they were bored. And so they turned to entertainment, and this is the entertainment they turned to. And their civilization fell. You know? Because they were bored. That reason always just fails to grasp me, because it's like, if you're completely fulfilled, what is there left to strive for? Is what they're saying? I mean, I don't know. It's always been a tough question, right? Humanity.
Oh, the memory of it. My poor sides. My friends and I were so consumed by laughter we struggled to breathe.
They're monsters, man. They were, Alligans were.
No more than entertainment for bored wastrels ignorant of its worth. My all-consuming work. But it was not their only indulgence. For they were ever hungry for stimulation. Slaves to the slightest hint that amusement was afoot. Our nation was ailing, but I would see the poison purged. I resurrected a legend, our first and greatest emperor. And just as I had planned, he set our wayward empire back on the path of conquest.
So this whole time, we thought the Alligans were separate, you know? We thought that it was just a separate thing, but it's all connected.
He who delivered to us such glory was not to be satisfied.
Heed me, Armon. No matter how vast one's empire, or full one's treasure vault, all is rendered meaningless by death. In the end, all is lost.
That's not true. When you lose someone or something sad happens, you have other people who remember you. Other people carry on your work, other people who carry on the love that you had for each other. Like, I don't agree.
You know as well as I that the Emperor stands to lose this war, and so I have come to claim you. For while your methods leave something to be desired, we cannot deny the results of your work. And as fortune would have it, the seat of Fandaniel, your rightful seat, lies vacant and waiting. Take your place amongst your peers, rather than die a pointless death amidst the ashes of your doomed nation. Send one of your clones to the Crystal Tower that you might see for yourself. See what lies ahead.
The fall of the Empire affirmed the truth. Majestic and tragic, as the Emperor foresaw. Scheme as you like, build as you will, nothing endures. What is life but a brief jaunt ending in emptiness?
I don't understand that. I don't understand how people don't understand that you're given life, you're brought into existence, right? And you search for your purpose in life. But to say it's all worth nothing is not. You know, we still have...
So easily distracted. Why? I almost left without saying farewell.
Oh, I'll give you a sending a farewell.
Friend, you needn't worry. These pawns are far more useful to me alive as fuel for the primates. If you attempt to pull them free, they will die. So, enjoy tackling that conundrum with your comrades.
Can't even say comrades right.
Not in one of these minor spires, oh no, but somewhere more suitably grandiose. Your favorite playmate is ever so eager to see.
Time to retreat, I guess. Like, imagine thinking that. Imagine being sitting there, like, staring at her, and then just being like, well, shit, I just gotta retreat. Like, you just sort of accept it as, like, the comings and goings because you're used to it, right?
A vast rock squats upon Favnir, and to its stony surface clings the city of Rods at Han. Ye who enter here are subject to the scrutiny of gods, the gate's most watchful eye. The orb which beholdeth the truth of all things.
This location...
Pass beneath its hot and piercing gaze, bearing down like a second midday sun.
This location is infinitely more beautiful at night. Like, everywhere I've been traveling to, it's been night.
The fragrant haze, a mixture of sweet incense and acrid smoke. The cries of merchants mingled here with lively melodies accented by dancers' feet. Travelers seduced by vivid sound and colors were once swallowed up by patchwork streets.
I love everywhere that I've been showing up is at night. It just makes it look so much cooler.
But no such scenes to savor now. To what somber present does that divine eye bear witness?
I'm sure we'll find out. No, see, comments like that, bless you. I don't want to know that. I disagree. I will always disagree. No matter how good the game is, I see so much potential in Xenosaga that I feel that it was unfair of it not to get the presentation that it deserved. I feel like if it was done properly, I feel like Xenosaga would be way amazing. So like, while I understand you could judge it off of its current form, there's so much potential that I see in it. I don't know if I'd ever agree that there would be a game that could surpass it. Like, just you know. A lot of ifs of what? I don't understand. I just feel like it's just, in the context of Xenosaga as a game, there's just potential. There's just potential to make things better. Oh, I mean, but that's true though. I mean, FF14 is what it is in its complete form, is it not? So, Xenosaga wasn't able to have the opportunity to finish itself like Final Fantasy XIV has, nor was it an MMO to be able to tell a story over, 10 years as expansive as FF14 was. That's just the benefit FF14 has as an MMO. You can't compare an MMO to, a game. But you can't though. Because an MMO is ongoing and each expansion is pretty much an entry into... It's very different. MMOs are very... There's more opportunity to flesh out a world like that than there is on a disc on a standalone game in a PlayStation 2 era, and we're in a PS5 era. Even if 14 started on PS3, that may not be the case, but I mean, I'm still not going to agree because it was a different era. Different technology. Like, FF14 has the advantage of technology. So, I don't know.
Your Excellency, may I present our honored visitors?
Ah, splendid. Most splendid. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ahawan, Satrap of Radzatan. Our alchemists tell me your assistance was invaluable in the creation of the warding scale.
So this is the dude that, That's too much time. Or too
Such
busy?
deeds ought to be recognized in person. Thus did I have young Varshan convey you here forthwith.
Dang it, I knew it was Varshan.
On behalf of my people, may I express to you our sincere gratitude.
But Nidhana, she was taken.
A regrettable incident indeed. Her colleagues insist that we honor her wishes and trust in the talisman, that it will be instrumental in saving Nidhana and the others. I am eager to hear your opinion on the matter, so let us not stand on ceremony. Come, sit.
I think not.
Yep. Thank you very much.
This charade has gone on long enough.
Yep,
Show
yep,
yourself.
I knew it. I called it. I said I was suspicious of this guy at the beginning.
Forgive me, but
Nuh-uh.
were you expecting musicians, perhaps?
Musicians?
There are no performers
I'm gonna
waiting in the wings at
staccato
present,
this
but
into
arrangements
you.
could be made if you'd prefer.
Musical joke. Ba-bum bump.
Nay, he hath the right of it. The time for artifice is past.
Mm-hmm.
Raise the curtain.
Uh-huh.
As you wish.
Yeah, no. It's a dragon. Where you get the dragon scales from? Uh-huh. Boom, boom.
Your
Boom, 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 boom.
But you are known to me.
Whose sibling, cousin, auntie are you?
Even here have we heard of the scions of the seventh dawn. I am Vritra. And for years uncounted hath this isle served as mine abode.
Vritra, of the first brood, sibling to Hraesvelga and...
No. Since when is he still around? He just was like, let me chill off in the middle of nowhere. And then everybody thinks I'm not here anymore. And then I'm here now.
I, mine elder brothers, of Midgard Sormas.
This was the baby.
I was last to hatch.
Well, isn't this a surprise? We were told Radzat Han had an alliance with the dragon. Not that a great worm sat in the satrap's own hall.
A necessary subterfuge, as the true tale of our nation history illustrates most effectively. In the beginning, the rock upon which our city is built was home to Vitra, and Vitra alone. In time, the ancestors of the Matanga came to the island and established a foothold. But never did they dare disturb the once lair.
No, Ram. I'm sorry. I put in the title there were spoilers. I'm so sorry. Read my titles. You are free to run away if you need be.
Next to arrive were the Aura. Adopting the example of their Arkasodra allies, they too treated Vitra with reverence and respect. And for many years, an understanding between our forefathers and the Great Worm endured.
Oh, okay. Goom, goom, goom.
Until marauding heroes from the mainland came, threatening to shatter our peace and tranquility, when it seemed all would be drowned in blood. Vitra himself came forth and quelled the rising conflict. A peaceful accord was reached, and oaths sworn in Vitra's name. Thus began the dragon's governance of the fledgling state, which was to grow into Radzat Han.
But if Vritra is still here, then your position as satrap is
Fake.
just...
He was ruling on behalf of the dragon, of course, right?
A charade, yes. And one which my family has performed faithfully for generations.
Of course that makes sense. Because you sail basically... There's always somebody, right? Connected to the dragons.
Many envy the great worms their power. Were it known that I ruled here, then the fires of war would burn without end. I would not be the flame which consumeth my people. Those few who join me in laying our country's foundations were, perforce, sworn to secrecy.
Right? Oh my god. I want to smack them. Let me tell you. How dare? How dare anybody? This is so important.
It was taken.
Had I gotten spoiled on this, I would have, I don't know what I would have done, but this is a big deal.
"'Tis here, buried within the semblance of flesh."
Ah, he's your walking eyeball. See? See? You know, yes, you know what? I don't pay their subs, but they clog up my server space. Out you go. We had a conversation already about this. So let me say this. Why did I get these feelings? Because I said right at the beginning, I was like, this kid's suspect.
"The body before thee is but a simulacrum, constructed by the finest artisans of Razathan, with mine eye nestled within.
Wow.
It doth serve as an inconspicuous vessel for my will."
That would explain why I felt the presence of a dragon upon our first meeting.
Kami called him Little Tiny Jesus. I was like, no, Little Tiny Sus. He was sus the first time I met him.
"I am woven with words fashioned to deceive such arcane senses. Though 'twas short-lived, it seemeth thy fusion with my brother hath left thee much altered, Estinian warmblood."
No way.
"From the very first, we sensed the nature of one another, yet did neither one of us bear his fangs."
Because Estinian is in control of your horrible piece of crap brother.
That is all I need know.
That's why.
Of thee for now.
With my secret,
Goom goom.
I have for you
Goom.
not as a worm of the first brood, but as the ruler of Razathan. With all haste must we take in hand the finished talismans and breach this foul spire. Thence, should it lay within our power, dispel its wicked influence. Yet even with the assurance of the warding scales, the narrow confines of the tower doth limit the size of our force.
So you want us to do it? Of course. I mean, we would have done anyway.
In numbers, thou must choose thy soldiers with care.
Yep, and we would do it anyway.
Just so. Yet though our radiant host is formidable, I see a surer path before me. Thou and thy comrades have contended with a multitude of primal beings. Most recently, thou didst cast down false gods in Pagalthan and Cartanau, I am told. 'Tis upon that strength I would call. The Scions have proven themselves the most capable, and I ask that you serve as the tip of our spear.
So how is this guy? And maybe how is this guy? They're all raspy old men. Anybody? That's what happened with Nier. Do you not remember? In Nier, they had the dad Nier, and then they had the brother, and they were like, Western audiences wouldn't understand the brother, so we had to make dad Nier because the dad character, rough, gruff voice, daughter, dad. It's unfortunately marketing, because people are small brain and they have to have it done that way. But on a side note, how am I supposed to align myself with a dragon? Okay, well, I guess Hraesvelgr got betrayed by people, right? Except for Shiva and Ysael. And, like, he had that love going for him. Nidhogg was all broody and evil. Humanity betrayed him again, too. So I guess this guy knew that the betrayal would happen, so he just hid in secret so he wouldn't be betrayed, and so he still is willing to help us because he hasn't been betrayed? Right? Oh, I'll play through it again. I'll switch to Japanese and we'll go through the... Because there's New Game Plus, and then there's also watching cutscenes again, so I can always watch the cutscenes in the journal thing. I usually do that anyway, but...
Talismans would, of course, be provided for each of thy companions, and should you agree to this undertaking, more will be provided to make use of as you see fit.
There's no denying it's a dangerous proposition, but the rewards may far outweigh the risk. Just think of what we might accomplish if we could equip all our allies with warding scales.
I will say this before, like, we derail ourselves into a fight between languages. The presentation of the English version of Final Fantasy XIV is not the same as the presentation of the Japanese Final Fantasy XIV, because, like, Kami, both of you and I have talked about this before. The translation differences and the fact that 14 takes so many liberties. I don't know. I think you can call the core of the game the same, but I can't say that you can call the feeling and presentation of the different versions the same. It is very different. And if you know Japanese, things come off very different. And so, again, super cool. Koji likes to put plans and do all this other stuff, and their team. But as someone who knows both well enough, it bothers me because it's like, how can people be a fan of a game if your presentation changes based off culture? Then it's not the same story anymore. Like, you got the basic premise, but the details are not the same. So if you go back and say, hey, bless you, that character stubbed his toe, and then the other person said, nah, they kicked him because of translation, it's a very different... Yes, exactly. I completely agree with that, Kami. Absolutely spot on. I agree. And so that's what comes to how I approach projects and stuff. If somebody's asked me, like, what does this mean or what does this say? Like, I have a choice of literally translating it or culturally conveying the meaning. And I feel like literal translation for me is always the way to go to get closest to the presentation as possible. I don't think it's bad. Bless you, I love the English version. That's why I play it in English. I don't think it's bad at all. But if you're gonna say that they're the same, they're not. Like, there's no way that there's the same. It's completely different, you know? And that's fine. That's true. That's totally fine. But in that case, you can't say that they're the same story, though. Because factually, the text and the dialogue is completely different, right? If it's not the same thing, you know? I mean, but that's different, right? We're talking about a game. There's so much text, and I get maybe they couldn't translate it all, but it's just, it's not the same. Like, I don't know. It's not the same way to experience it. It's very hard for me to describe, you know? But that aside, I mean, they're both great games. It's just a very different experience. Very different.
I worry, however, that even the four of us may be too few for what you have in mind.
Especially with Alice's character.
Regroup with our friends first to discuss the matter.
Nah, you guys, you can cut. I mean, we're not gonna fight it out here. I mean, I'm just saying that they're just different presentations. But, I mean, let's not, you know... I just disagree with it. But it's fine, you know? Anyway, let's focus back on this anyway. I'm gonna focus on this.
"'Tis no trifling task that I have laid before you. Go, steel your hearts and hone your plans. Such time as you require shall be spent in crafting your protective charms."
It seems a quick trip back to Sharlayan is in order.
Wilt thou not lend thine
Whether your request be made as a Great Worm or the ruler of Radzat-Han, I see no reason to refuse, nor will I.
Someone certainly can see better than someone else, with or without eyes, eh? But it changes perception, right? Because if you're kicking a table, you're doing it with the intent of kicking it. Well, if you stub your toe, right, that means that you've received pain and it's an accident. So it changes perception of somebody doing something on purpose versus somebody not doing something on purpose. So the presentation of how you receive that is very different. Like, oh, ow, that's gotta hurt. Or, oh, he's so pissed off he kicked it. Yeah, so like context is heavily, I know it's semantics, but how you receive that information is different and how you perceive that. So you can see somebody punching a wall as like, oh, they're doing it in frustration, right? Or if they punch it because they're angry, or it just changes how you view somebody's personality as well, right? But that's the point, though. You have to care, because somebody, how would you like it, Lishu, if you transcribed all of Xenosaga, right? Like you finished the transcription and then somebody was like, I'm just gonna change just for the sake of changing stuff. Like you can't just change. It's very sticky. Yeah. Right. It's I don't know. Oh, I was quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the pleasures, is it? You miss your home? It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and asked how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return to Charlian, we are not allowed to cross the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position in the forum will perhaps lead to reconciliation. We'll mend the shift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Gra? Have you been able to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlene, yes, but I was born rather farther away. In the southern reaches of Isambard, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite of the island of Thavner. The Allagans founded a city in fertile land, and by ship, brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. What heroes! Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 15 years, yes, some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amoenus. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. Really? House Darnus demonstrated a single interest in Allagan civilization, so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan Eye no longer passed our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties with the knowledge and traditions of Allac. As the last child born with the Allagan Eye, I was given over the custody of friends in the students of Baldessian who had me registered as a Charlian citizen. I had never considered, forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louis Soir, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are common among Charlians than you might think. Yet regardless of our origins, we're all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with that sufficient perspicacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. This is exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear. Another good reason to get to the bottom of the form's stubbornness, and aside from trifling matter of our impending doom. Jesus, while we make some headway into those books, Luxus. More company should be arriving any moment now. They purposely made him a good boy. How dare they do that? Good Kato. Ah yes, the Amorites spoke of it, didn't they? We never heard this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each day, every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarot was spared. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with Norman's Mammoths and ask if they have any books which make mention of such sound. Last but not least, you describe how ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity. What definitive action did they take? My theory is Bubkiss. Oh well, that's alright. We do not know exactly how Zodiac brought salvation to the star, only that his godlike laws nature set right. Then, when once balance was redressed, the ancients offered up further sacrifice to heal their ravages of the final days. I didn't remember! That was so long ago! Wow, I didn't remember any of that. How did I not retain any of that? I sprouted in you, and it was the fledgling souls that intended to render into Zodiac a trade. Elidibus and Vanal, right? So then what are we? Why are we so special? Are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? This is all pointless conjectures at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? Oh, so where is them? See, this is so confusing. It's like, I don't know. I don't remember everybody's names. We were Emmett's best friend, weren't we? I don't remember. Okay, let's talk to everybody. Ah, so Cryos Galuf brought him here. Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. At least remembered that. It's been so long, I'm sorry. It's been a long time since it feels like it hasn't, but to me it feels like it's been a long time. Okay, cool. I remembered something right. Yeah. Oh my god, that's too cute. I'm sorry, that's too cute. And that's also probably why she favors the hoodie with the cat ears. Because, like, they resemble each other in a way. You know, like family. That's so cute. Like, that would explain the hoodie. You know? Because she's like an honorary Mikote in a way. That's so adorable. Oh my god, I can't even. That's so precious. If you recall, Urianger learned that the source's reflections in the Giran oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, the tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Google Library. It is even less likely knowledge that the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be shifting shelf on any curious scholar to find. I have female Lalafell. Yeah, that's really nice. Because at first, when we meet him before the Crystal Tower, right? Our impression of him is sort of like, he was this random person with this bloodline, and we got involved with him, and then he stayed in the Crystal Tower, and then, you know, Shadowbringers happened, and all of this stuff happened, and I feel like while everything about Grawha was great after Shadowbringers, I don't think we understood where he connected in, and the fact that he connected in that way is what's fantastic. Hey, Steve. It's probably Steve. What you doing? But yeah, Kami, I agree with that completely. Like, we didn't know. We knew, but I don't think we understood the extent of the way that fate weaved all of these people together, you know? Aww. Aww, so cute. You don't ever get to see her de-stress, right? Because she's always high-strung.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Grawha said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently. They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
What? They're taking from Zito's like, I told you couldn't compare the two. Look, they've stolen Labyrinthos. Anyway. What'd you talk about, Alcé?
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait, didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual?
Yes.
I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum.
Yes, let's become gleaners. Yeah.
If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Always Labyrinthos. Always Labyrinthos. She, Alcé. Father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but also are certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telepharoi is wholly unlikely that these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be occupied by such a duty pressing importance that they saw unfit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it's stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service of the Forum's secretive ends. I think that they're gathering up all the collectibles and they're storing them within Sharlayan in like some sort of bunker in preparation of the destruction of the world so that they can survive and history can survive. I think they're taking all the artifacts of the world and they're hoarding them. I mean, but I could be wrong. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more perceptive to our questions. Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book. No, what should we expect down there? That's my question. I always ask questions, I never am sassy. Well, not all the time. But I hate to spoil the surprise. What? No! As for myself, there are a few more subjects I'd like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to that each is returned in its proper place. That'd be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you the entrance or the entrances. Alabe, hurry up. Now we run, try to keep up. I got shorter legs than her, she's supposed to outrun me. Ankle biter. Keep the path straight ahead. Run, LSA, Luxus the ankle biter is behind you. She shall have your cankles. We cross this bridge. Look at this other Lalafell. Ah, another ankle biter. Who's this? Broom Plus of Comfy, the ankle biter. Up here. Got you. Got your cankles.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky.
The Frog Village!
In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves. And this vault's architects surely belonged to that special
Are these
breed.
frogs? Bye, Kami. I'm sorry, the frogs distracted me.
If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
I hope there are frogs here.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today.
Very different from Xenosalia Labyrinthus indeed.
It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Nice spot, Alisaie.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Ugh.
Huh?
Did you call to me just now?
Huh?
No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent.
Oh, no, no, no.
I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to
No,
work, shall we?
don't death flag my cryo.